Hi everyone, let's talk about Isle of Trains, which I've just finished a full 2-player playthrough for. If you haven't seen that yet, it's linked in the description, and the game in action and everything about it is there, really. This is if you're interested in what I think about the game. That's basically all the video is. And yeah, bear in mind, I was paid to make the playthrough video, so factor that in if you would like to. So Isle of Trains is a wonderful, fast-moving, thinky little game that basically shows how much you can do with so few components. I mean, the passengers that are added in this new version are an extra thing. You know, they're meeples or tokens, and we've got a little progress track, but basically it is the deck of cards. It's the classic, the beautiful, who could live without it, multi-use card system, in that every time you're looking at your hand, it's like, oh, I would love that that amount of points. I can kind of afford that cost. Oh, well, the resource is actually, if I load that onto someone else's train, then I can take this amazing action that might lead me in this other direction. Or that's just the resource I need to put on my thing. But if I build it, it's a building that could get me loads of points at the end. As soon as you are kind of set off into a path, as soon as you have kind of taken on a contract and you've got to stick with it and go on to the secondary contract, you are on your way, and you've got to see how smoothly you can get it all to work together. I think the central thing that makes it work so well is the fact that your trains are full of bonuses, are full of fantastic actions and rewards for loading the trains up with cargo, but only if other people do it for your train. You get nothing for loading your own train other than bit of satisfaction probably, but you are making some progress towards the delivery you need to make. But you can get much bigger strides. Bonus actions in general, or specific ones like loading and building, loads more cards, which is usually the key thing that you need. The upgrade, the train, the weight capacity, the resource that I need is just a few cards away. If only I could draw a few more cards rather than spending an action half my turn just taking one card at a time. Fair enough, from the display you know what it is. It might be the very thing for you, but yeah, wouldn't it be much nicer to draw 3, 4, 5 cards from the deck in one great big go? But you're always helping someone. How much are you helping them? Can you see what they are going for? Do they have a secondary contract in front of them? So, oh, well, they've already got 2 coal loaded, so me loading another isn't going to be that much of a big deal. But then when they make a delivery, they can do that as a kind of superfluous extra delivery and get a couple of cards for that as well. You're always helping them in some way. If it's loaded on their train at the end of the game, it's worth a point. So you've got to measure, how much is this going to hurt me in the end, especially in the 2-player game, because you haven't got a choice, as you would in a 3-4 player game. You would have more of a choice of, well, I can see they're doing really well. They look like they've got a lot of points, so I'll try and load someone else's train, even if it's a slightly worse action. In a 2-player game, it's load your own and get nothing, or load your opponents. No matter how well they're doing, you can try and just give them something that won't be as useful, but you're always helping them towards something else. Luckily, they're in exactly the same position and will be forced to, especially early on. Everyone's getting something, everyone's making some progress. You want to just have those baby steps. Everyone's probably got level 1 trains, so the action to draw a few extra cards. But when it gets much later on and you are seeing these huge gains of an action in general, that's a whole 50% more turn that you can have for loading that thing up. But as always, it's giving them more points, more ideas, more things. And the passenger system is new to this All Aboard edition. And it's a lovely extra layer, an extra thing to think about on top of everything else. Because passengers, you will often, depending on what you are putting in your train, passengers you'll often gain passively, and it's another thing that you can be loaded onto trains. Rewards for putting them on other people's, nothing for yourself. But now there is an extra thing of, well, if I drop the passenger off at this particular city early on, I can get much better rewards for it. And oh, I've got this green passenger. They want to go to Flint Beach, and Flint Beach wants me to get an oil and a crate delivered. So maybe I go for those trains early on. It's a nice thing to give you a little indicator. It's another way that the game can end as well. One of these locations filling up, that's going to depend, how many passengers are getting delivered, how they're coming out of the bag. But that's another, in a 2-player game, that's one of the 4 steps on the progress track done as soon as one of those locations fills up. It happens with the deliveries as well, but it can be a game where you have to keep an eye on everything that is going on, because it can just end underneath you. You can be making all of these big plans for a great big final secondary delivery, but you might be getting very little for your train just being loaded up with a few things. Because, yeah, that sneaky passenger might have boarded someone's train on another turn, especially, you know, in a 3-player game. The person might have just loaded player 3's train with just the right passenger, and they deliver it and kind of end the game. You'll always get one more action, but it's often, you know, as in loads of games, it's just one more turn shy of what you needed to do your perfect thing. But that's great. That's how you have to plan around and try and get the most out of the short time that you have with it. And for everything that I'm saying about that system of using other people's trains, though, I know that Rach, who I play all of my games with, does not like using other people's things or having other people use her things in games. So yeah, your mileage may vary, but you know that, right? I really enjoy it and think it's a really clever, different kind of system. And yeah, love multi-use cards in general and the way that a million things seem to be tugging at your heartstrings, trying to get them out onto the board somehow. I think it works really well, but hopefully you've seen the playthrough and you have seen for yourself and decided for yourself what you think of it. The Kickstarter page is linked. It's live now for a short period, depending on when you're watching this. So yeah, click that and find out how you can get hold of it and see all of the final stuff, because this is just a prototype. Thank you for watching though, and I'll see you for the next game. Bye everyone.